Hey everybody, welcome to Friendship Club's Friendship Exchange, brought to you by Nike and St. Alfred. Today we have incredible artist Hailey losselyong.
What's up?
How's it going? How are you doing in this crazy time?
You know, we're here, we're alive, we're making it work.
True.
And getting it done while keeping a distance.
Has the quarantine affected your situation a lot, or
Yeah.
business as usual?
No.
Tell me what has happened to you.
I mean, not being able to really leave the house has impacted my work a little bit. Definitely had some things canceled and rearranged. So, you know, work is work.
Just gotta make it happen.
I've been lucky. I have a lot of supportive people though that have been, you know, making sure I'm getting small things here and there.
Amazing.
So we're good.
Well, yeah, your work obviously speaks for itself, so I'm pretty sure you'll be busy no matter what. So we're here for Nike airmax Day.
Okay.
You know, we love airmax over here, but
Absolutely.
due to our current situation, you know, we want to keep the hanging outing and the group hangouts to a minimum.
Right.
So, well, we really appreciate you coming and doing this because I think that you're an incredible talent and artist, and I really like your ideals and opinions on things.
Thanks.
And that being said, I would like to ask you about what your opinion on the sneaker culture of today is like from your perspective.
From my perspective,
Like, do you think that it's represented perfectly, or do you think there's changes that need to be made? Like, tell me your thoughts.
I think there's lots of layers to the sneaker community now because it's harder to get shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's harder already for women to get shoes that they like
Right.
because most of them don't come in the size
Right.
that I need. So I get left out of a lot of drops regardless. But with the resale culture right now, everything is 10 times harder to get in the first place. And I think, I mean, it is what it is. Like, people got to get their bread how they get their bread.
Of course.
So
The hustle is real.
it's fine, but it kind of separates the people from just making money and actually appreciating
Right.
the shoe. But I guess now there's a higher price tag to appreciate the shoes.
I guess, you know, and I feel like in that there's a pro and con. Like I grew up a huge sneaker fan, and like this is before the internet. We used to find out that there was like a Tony Sports in Milwaukee or something like that, or like a store that had, you know, Air Raids or some Jordan 3s, and we would drive up there and try to get them and whatnot. So the idea of exclusivity was always there, but I feel like nowadays, because of the internet and because of the culture around it, pretty much anybody can get anything if they pay the price.
Yeah.
So the dig is no longer there. But on the flip of that, I do appreciate that they're putting a higher level of value on our culture as there was before. Before, like, you know, what I mean? People used to look at sneakers like you weren't dressed well, like you couldn't get into a restaurant wearing sneakers. And now, you know, something like this can cost $2,000, $3,000.
Right.
And so I do appreciate the level of quality that they're putting on top of it, but I don't like the aspect of how basically if you have a ton of money, you can get any shoe, and if you don't, you're
out of luck. And I mean, that was the story for a lot of my life. I mean, sneakers weren't top priority in the house. So it's like you need things for school, you need things for sports, and then you have your extra stuff on the side. But sneakers weren't seen as necessity.
Right.
So now, being an adult and, you know, paying my own bills, I can decide to spend the money on my shoes, which is where I spend most of my money in my wardrobe.
Amazing.
I guess.
So you were an athlete a large section of your life, and did your love for sneakers come from being an athlete, or you just like?
Yeah, I mean, playing a lot of sports, you typically wear a lot of streetwear, what would be considered streetwear now, so like athleisure. Right. And that kind of segues into, okay, if all I own are sweatpants, most of the time I'm going to be wearing sneakers. Right. So there's a way to, you know, elevate that look. Right. From just being, you're wearing sweats and beaters to, you know, I'd still look presentable while wearing a crew neck. Right, which is super.
I personally love that. I love that it kind of equalizes that anybody can pretty much wear anything if it's put together right. It's more of a personal style, but it's not. There's no more like, that's not the way you're supposed to dress. You know what I mean?
Right, because I could go out looking a hot mess in a dress and heels.
Right, exactly. I love that. So, as an athlete, like, walk me through some of your athletic life, if you don't mind. Like, how long did you play sports? What sports did you play?
I mean, I grew up in a house full, in and out of boys, a house full of boys. So I have 5 older brothers and 1 younger brother. So I'm the only girl. I played on all the boys' teams. I, you know, was playing sports that they would let girls play up until the point that they wouldn't let girls play them. I played baseball, basketball, softball, volleyball, soccer. I don't know. I feel like there's a few more in there.
You just played.
I played everything. We were just like,
it was year round. One that was your favorite?
Soccer, I played from 4 to 18. So, and I played travel from like 5 or 6 to 18. And that was definitely like the biggest part of my life. Okay. I was good. Yeah. I was okay. I was good, and I mean, I feel like if I didn't have the injury that I had, I possibly would have went to college for it, but it just wasn't in the cards.
Right. So your injury was...
I broke my femur.
Oof.
In half. Just...
In half?
Just...
Oh.
Like a pencil.
How old were you when this happened?
I was 13.
Oh.
And
so you played after your injury as well. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, when you're young, you recover a lot faster. So I did therapy probably incorrectly and started playing a lot faster than I should have. I was back playing competitively like in under a year, under a year.
That's crazy. And your femur is like one of the most important bones, right?
Yeah, I didn't have a cast. They just there's no cast. They put the metal rod in and screws, and I just had to chill until
that's crazy.
I had to like relearn how to walk because I cut all my.
And then you went right back to playing soccer.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yep.
That definitely speaks to your resilience.
It was rough. But I mean, I loved it, so I didn't want to stop.
And then so after high school, you just decided maybe it was time to hang up the cleats?
Yeah, I mean, I still played like intramural and on the side whenever I could pick up like 3v3 tournaments and stuff like that, but it's just a tough injury as you get older as well, and it takes like a lot of maintenance. So I mean, I can play, but I'll be hurting for a few days afterwards. But that's also because I don't think I took care of it the way that I should have, because I was young and stupid. So. Right.
Well, that's very interesting and crazy that you broke your femur and continued to play. But you know, gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
So, what got you into doing this incredible art that you do now?
I mean, I was always crafty. I did, like my grandma taught me how to knit, and I tried to learn how to sew, but I failed at that. And then I would do like just anything crafty, like anything at the craft store you could get and do a little project with. But when I went to college, I wanted artwork for my dorm room, so I started painting, and I was just copying things that I had seen. But I liked the process and eventually started doing my own, original pieces. And
very unique style.
Yeah, after doing some stuff where I would just recreate something for somebody else, for next to no money.
Right.
I stumbled upon my style,
That's awesome.
which has stuck for the last few years.
It's very clear. It definitely comes out in every piece. I think it's absolutely incredible.
So this one isn't mine. I don't know if it's in there, but this is Langston, and he's amazing. So, but the rest,
But these are yours.
Yeah, these are yours.
I think it's very
This is
clear.
me supporting the art community by making it was my first real art purchase. Made me feel like a collector.
True.
Yeah.
I to segue into that actually, how do you feel about the art community, especially in Chicago, and how it pertains to our culture? Because I feel that, nowadays, everything, because of the internet, which I think is amazing, all of the subgenres within the art world have now kind of, in a sense, come together.
Yeah.
And you see fine art with sneaker culture, with sports and activities and whatnot. So tell me what your thought is on that.
I mean, it's great. Everything is revolved around art in some way, if you can think of it that way.
Right.
Everything is designed by somebody. Everything is created. So there should be much more of an appreciation on the things that you have to see every day.
Yeah.
Because you can really craft, you're kind of curating your life style.
Absolutely.
Things that make you feel good most of them are art related. So music, visuals, movies, anything it's important.
Yeah.
And getting more crossover just creates more opportunity. So
and I've noticed that, especially with you, because you've, in my opinion, you skyrocketed with your art. I feel like people appreciate your art the way it's supposed to be appreciated. And, I see you all over the country doing murals and paintings, doing with other big brands and whatnot. So I feel like there's more industry connecting the subcultures as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, me painting faces, that's what I do daily, but it doesn't, I was gonna say, me doing this has opened up other doors for me to be involved creatively in things like Nike. If you look at my work, you're not gonna immediately think sportswear or Nike or things like that. But
and to be fair, you can look at your artwork and see it on sportswear.
So again, it's just about the crossover and making things happen that make sense.
Totally. So it's more of a creative direction that you could add to, and I think that's cool, man. I think it's amazing. I like seeing you. I saw you did stuff for Art Basel, and what are some other areas that you've traveled? Give me a kind of a timeline of your trajectory.
I mean, a lot of my big projects have happened here in Chicago. All of my murals are here, and amazing. It's been a really great start. I mean, next month marks the 3rd year of me deciding to be freelance. So that was day 1 where I had nothing happening. So I've been, I would say, successfully freelance, whatever that means, for about 2 years now.
Incredible.
And
congratulations.
Thank you.
What
it's a process though. It's up and down all the time.
Of course.
All the time.
But I think that also speaks to your resilience. In your opinion, what is one question, when was the moment where you decided, this is what I'm going to do as my main focus? And then also, how do you convey for any other artists or kids out there that are getting into it, kind of the idea behind it? Because I know there's the artwork, but there's also kind of a mentality that you have to have. You have to have a certain amount of strength and resilience to do this. And a lot of people see this and they see the fruits of your work, but there's a lot of hard work behind the scenes that people don't necessarily know about.
I mean, there's plenty of people that are as talented or more talented than me that are just not comfortable enough to take that leap, which I mean, I get it. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. It's scary because there can be security, but there's a lot of areas where you're just not secure.
Right.
And you have to get over that fear.
Yeah.
Or try.
Right.
I mean, it's still there.
It's always going to be
there,
hanging in the background, yeah.
I mean, I was really lucky. I feel like I came from a supportive household. They worked traditional jobs, but at the same time, they knew that I was going to do what I wanted to do anyways. So we were kind of on the same page where I'm like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. We can all take this trip together, and it can be great. But if you don't support it, that's also okay.
Yeah,
so I'll make it
anyway,
work. We might as well just do it together.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that I feel like there's a trade-off, right? Like, you know, when you're an artist full time, because I'm also an artist to an extent, and I think the same about me. I think that as an artist, you kind of give up the security to pursue this, and it's almost like you have to double down and, like, you know what, I just have to double hustle. I have to make it happen. And I feel like you need that almost competitive spirit to go, you know what, I don't care if nobody likes it, I'm gonna make it happen anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like I have been fortunate enough to know the things that I don't like. Yeah. Which has propelled me into doing a lot of things that I do like. But so very random, before I came back to Chicago was when I decided to be freelance. I was living in Iowa. Oh. Very briefly. I had attempted to go back to school, and then I secretly dropped out and didn't tell anybody, and worked for like 6 months and saved up enough money. I was a phlebotomist. So I was sticking needles in people and taking their white blood cells. I had great benefits and a 401k. And then I quit because I hated it.
But see, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like there's a trade-off. Like, if you can have the security, you can have a lot of people, like, things aren't for everyone. I feel like, you know, a lot of people talk about dropping out of school, right? Like how they dropped out of school, but they also have to, you know, I feel like people need to focus on the fact that they also worked overtime. Like, I also did not do the college route, but I spent that time during college working as hard as humanly possible on what I was trying to do. And working hard in time, to me, is what gets people to where they want to be. And like you said, you have to kind of let go of the security of the 401k and whatnot. Right. But that's what the drive is, to get you to the success that you have. Because it's there's no other.
I left that job and went to an unpaid internship with Hebrew. But it was, I mean, I'm coming back, I'm trying to be an artist, and this artist is going to let me be around. Why wouldn't I do that? Absolutely. And it worked out. I mean, I don't have the mentality of working for free for very long, so it turned into a job because I was there, you know? Yeah. I came in, I had twisted my ankle, I was still on crutches. He had a show, but I was okay, we're gonna get it done, you know? Like, amazing. I gotta do what I gotta do. Yeah. So, but you have to have that mentality when you're working for yourself, because nobody can tell you otherwise. I mean, nobody's gonna get you out of bed.
Yeah. Like, how sure do you have to be about your work for it to work? Because
sure enough. Right. Because I mean, there's always times of doubt. I mean, I've definitely done a project and handed it off and been like, I don't know about that. Right. And
that's honest. Yeah.
It's honest. I'm not trying to give out shit work, and nobody else has given me that critique, because I'll ask for, you know, critique. I'll take it. But if nobody else thinks it's shit either. But, you know, I'm trying to get to a place where I'm not taking jobs that I'm not comfortable with. Right. And not necessarily not comfortable with, but not interested in learning how to be better for that job. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll take jobs I'm uncomfortable with if I feel like it's going to teach me something new that will be new and beneficial. Right. But also, being a creative, sometimes you just gotta take the job, because where's the paycheck?
You are an incredible artist, and you paint women. Yes. Is there a reason behind that, or is this just what naturally came to you?
It just happened.
I love it.
I feel like I've figured out the reasons for things
Right.
way after the fact of them happening.
I agree with that.
I try not to like put too much
Deep thought into
I mean,
you
it is what it is until I figure out what it is. If you think it's something, that's cool. I just want whatever resonates with you, however you feel about it.
Yeah.
You can take that.
So you kind of just leave the story to people to put on to your art.
Yeah. I mean, I want everybody to kind of be able to see themselves in it. So they're kind of ambiguous sometimes, just to keep it accessible.
I love that. I have a question about the sneaker scene as far as how it pertains to how they treat shoes for women, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I believe that I've always noticed that they make shoes for men and then they make shoes for women, and they make these colorways for women and they make these colorways for men. But what I've noticed as a 20-year sneaker collector is that in a sense nobody on either side necessarily wants that section. I feel like I know most of my friends who are women who collect sneakers, they want the same sneakers as I want, just in their size, right? And I feel like a lot of these companies are using this traditional idea of men's and women's, when if to me a shoe goes on your foot, it's a shoe, that's it. Like if I've seen a million sneakers from, I used to go into Women's Foot Locker all the time and be like, I never seen this colorway of a Cortez, and I'd buy it, and then I'd step on the scene and all the homies would be like, where you get those? New York? Like, so like,
there's definitely no reason all shoes should be unisex at this point. I don't
agree.
understand why. Because that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Especially I wear a lot more muted tones with my sneakers, and I don't want pink shoes. I just don't.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
Right.
I mean, and purple, it doesn't fit into what I wear.
Right.
I know a lot of women that do love all the colors. That's great, but I like a lot more neutral tones, and they just don't offer the same options.
Yeah.
So
do you think if they erased the line of men and women and just had shoes with colorways, that it would kind of solve everything?
Yeah.
Because I believe I believe that instead of feminizing a shoe, or I feel like you should just equalize and have a size run for everything.
I mean, even look at like Sheila's shoe.
Yeah.
Everybody can wear Sheila's shoe.
Facts.
It's just
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just fire. Yeah.
And there was no conversation of whether it would be offered in men's or women's, because
it's just a fire shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Every
that.
shoe should be like that.
I agree with you. Do you feel like because of the internet and because of today's day and age that like, how do you feel about the what's the word? How do you feel about the attention being paid to these aspects now? Do you feel like it's a little too late, or do you like the fact that people are focusing more on the equality in our sneaker and art culture?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's too late.
Yeah.
Better late than never. Obviously, you would want it to be earlier, but it should be paid attention to. It's art. It's creative expression. It's giving a lot of people, again, a way to cross over. You can really be into shoes, or you can really not be into shoes, but if you like something, you are related in some way.
Right.
Giving different types of people more opportunity to create sneakers, because sneakers aren't just worn by people that are in fashion. Like artists of different kinds, athletes of different kinds, they're not trained in design, but they know what they like to wear, so
Totally.
they can relate to other people that also want to wear it but
Absolutely.
aren't designers.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
You're a genius. So can you, not necessarily for me, but more for our viewers, can you walk me kind of through your process, and more in a way that, you know, like for other artists that are starting, that maybe we're just thinking about picking up a paintbrush and getting to it, like walk me through your process a little bit.
I'm not trained.
Yeah.
Like I didn't go to school, I didn't have any training in art, so I do whatever I do. I like use cheap paint and brushes, but whatever gets the job done. I feel like people are really stuck on, you know, I have to have all the perfect supplies or the perfect things to make art. You can make it out of anything. And being open to exploring different crafts. I don't believe that you have to do one thing. I can do whatever I want to do.
There's always been I remember growing up, there was always been the statement of like, oh, you should be good at one thing.
Pick one thing and be really good at it. And that's fine if that's what you're okay with, but my brain bounces around. So sometimes I want to paint on a canvas, sometimes I want to paint on a lamp, sometimes I want to paint on a purse, I want to draw on my clothes, I want to...
Yeah, do you feel like I feel like there's time for everything, because you're not doing that one thing all the time. Like, you know, I feel like, you know, if you're on the train, you can be doing this thing. If you're at home, you can be doing this thing. Like, I don't believe in the idea.
Trying as many things as possible, because even over a year ago, I had never touched an iPad or pencil ever, and the moment I got it, like my entire career shifted. Within a couple weeks. Like the amount of work I was able to do in that with one device was crazy. So the more things I get to learn, the more I can put out and the more I can explore different types of work. But I think the biggest thing is just trying it and failing, and then doing some, like, make adjustments. And then just, like you said, just go be nice to people, go make some friends, find people that have similar interests as you, so you can learn and always learn. I, like, make it a point of mine to always be around people that do different things than I do, and if they do the same thing that I do, I want them to be better than me so I can learn. Like,
that is a very good...
Soak up all the knowledge.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, well, that's a very selfless mentality. Well, kind of. It's like selfish because you want to learn, but it's selfish because you're not all about yourself. You're trying to create something new. And I think that's a very fire mentality to have. Well, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for doing the Friendship Exchange with Friendship Club, brought to you by St. Alfred's and Nike. Once again, this is Hailey losselyong, incredible artist and painter. Make sure you check her out on Instagram, Facebook, and all the other internet.
All the things on the internet. Air hugs.
Air hugs, air high five. Be safe out there. Thank you so much for letting us do this, and see you on the internet.